In a small town, a racing legacy was born, one drilled hole at a time. Wade Huisman started Keizer Racing Wheels 27 years ago with a single wheel and a vision for better performance on the track. He built it from the ground up, then rebuilt it again after a devastating fire. Today, Keizer stands stronger than ever, powering champions across the globe. This is more than manufacturing, it's passion, precision, and perseverance. My name is Matt Bohl from MBTV Sports, and this is an interview that was done this past Tuesday, conducted by Austin Lloyd, who was kind enough to sit down with the owner of Keizer Racing Wheels.
Wade, Keizer Wheels, you gave us a tour of this facility. This is unbelievable. I mean, can you even put into words what you've got going on here?
You know, it surprised me every day that we've got to this point, but it's been a lot of hard work, and I do enjoy when people come by and we get to show them, you know, what we've created here and tell a little story about how we got to this point. It's very rewarding when you get to come and see the fruits of your spoils over 27 years. And yeah, we have fun every day building racing wheels for the world.
You know, I really want to, you said you showed us around, you seem to really enjoy that. I go through your social media feeds, and I mean, there's kids that are coming through here, there's different groups that are, how cool is that to be able to take a group of elementary school or middle school kids and introduce them not just to what you're doing, but to motorsports?
Yeah, it is neat. I've had third graders here this year, all the way up to a group of old blacksmiths that were in their 80s. So
yeah,
every tour gets your own little dynamic, and it's fun to explain what we do, and it's fun to see the reactions of the different machines, whether it's a laser or the spinning machine, you know, anything like that. It's fun to judge their reactions.
Yeah, and I don't think it's any secret in the dirt track world. You know, this building obviously new because you guys went through, you know, a lot a few years ago. Fire took out the old building, whatever else. What's the process been like? Not just to continue on in the industry, but to build this new building, to be able to recover from that with you and your entire team.
Yeah, I think it was May. I believe it was May of 21 is when we burnt down, and that alone, that time period was right during COVID, so that was a huge challenge. We did get very lucky with the building being available, so we were able to get right in here. But then everything after that wasn't easy. From equipment to materials just coming back online. Our customers were great, you know. Luckily, COVID, you couldn't get anything, so that kind of helped us out. But over time, we were able to slowly get on top of it. And within a year, we were back putting most of our stuff out. 2 years, I felt like we were 100%, but it took that third year really to catch up, okay?
Yeah.
So I feel like this is the first busy season that we are back to where our lead times, I think, are acceptable in most of our divisions that we service. And I feel like every day you feel like, okay, we're finally there, and then you reach another little milestone of the recovery. And I think we're on the other side of it. We're back to engineering new products, bringing new stuff online, and we're kind of away from that segment of our life.
Yeah, you talk about your customers being really good for you. I really want to focus on that a minute. A lot of people had to be really patient and understanding with where you were at, and it seemed like they all were. And maybe that's a little bit of the reputation that you've got, at least in the open wheel industry. That's something you got to be pretty proud of, to be able to cultivate those relationships.
I was. You know, a lot of those companies did have faith in us. You know, they hung around and waited from us. You know, there's a lot of teams that had to make some tough decisions. It was interesting to see those teams, some that rode us off and some that rode the pine with us, and you know, they were going to make do with what they had, and we got through it. So yeah, good customers, great dealers that had trust in us. You know, they believed in what we said. You know, we told them we were coming back, gave weekly, monthly updates on that progress as we went through those you know, critical months of, hey, we are coming back, and they trusted us. So.
For me, I'm a sprint car guy, so I know you from, you know, Matt Huisman at Jackson and those kinds of things. But walking through here, it's obvious that you're doing a lot more than that. How many different types of vehicles at this point do you think you make wheels for?
We service, you know, our main lines, and within that there's a lot of different stuff, right? So you have your circle track line that's anywhere from, you know, your junior sprints, micro sprints, your midgets of all different, you know, whether it's an indoor, a pavement, a typical dirt track. You got your sprint car divisions, you got your late model divisions, you got your dirt modified divisions. So just in our circle track alone,
yeah,
you know, there's a lot of different stuff out there. You know, then we move into our drag racing. your drag racing isn't just your typical, street outlaw guys. It's everything from an ATV, that's racing a 250 little Banshee, all the way up to a UTV sand drag vehicle. And then we get into our side-by-side racing, and we get into, there's just so many things when you look across, not only in the U.S., across the world anymore, that are performance-driven. We just service a whole bunch of things with our platform that we've created. So I don't even know how to answer that. A lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot. But I would say 5 main segments when you figure the tractor and the pulling industry all the way down, and there's got to be 20, 30 in each of those segments. So some of them might only do a few of those projects a year. And then you got your bigger revolving ones like late model racing and stuff that are your more higher volume type situations.
Yeah. So you're involved in the industry beyond just the wheels, obviously. One of the things that I really wanted to talk about is what you've got going on during Knoxville Nationals.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about that and kind of how that came together.
Yeah. So if you look over the past 27 years that I've been involved in this, we've won a lot of the big races, the key marquee events that I've ever wanted to win in the sprint car racing. And that includes, all the shootout divisions, the Chili Bowl, King's Royal, the National Open, all the cup races out west, anything that you could name, whether it be, non-wing, winged, I felt like we won it, except for, we won 305 Nationals at Knoxville. We won the 360 Nationals every time in Knoxville. We just, that one missing link.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get there, but when we do get there, I want it to be a special moment, and I want it to be a special moment for the team that takes us there. So we went on a 10-year commitment with Knoxville. We have a $100,000 prize for the team that takes us with them, that has all of our hubs and wheels on the vehicle, and they'll get that payday from us. So, and maybe if it doesn't happen the second 10 years, we'll up it and throw another $100,000 in the pot to sweeten it up. So it's a fun thing to do. It's still going to be hard. There's a lot of good competition in the sprint wheel market today. We got a lot of good competition out there in that market, and they all make great products. So it's going to be it's going to be a chore yet, but it's going to be a fun thing to do and watch progress as we go on.
Yeah, no, I know that I'm an Iowa resident just like you. Having the sprint car capital there is absolutely special. But, as an Iowa resident looking locally, we've got a lot of great racing, great tracks, great people around this area. I know you're pretty heavily involved in that. Jackson, Husitz, micro sprints, go-kart racing all over the place. What is kind of the state of open wheel racing in Iowa for you right now? What do you look at that as?
Yeah, I think we have our tracks that are really secure and embedded. Obviously, the big ones, we know where they're at, and it's tough to see some of those smaller, you could say fair tracks across. Obviously, like Spencer, they do great because they got the Spencer Fair is so great. But there's a lot of smaller tracks that are kind of constantly, trying to struggle along a little bit, find their way amongst the marketing world of today, right? How do we keep the advertising coming in? How do we keep our exposure up? When you're up against Friday Night Flow and Dirt Vision and all those things that are coming at us marketing-wise online in media, how do they find their way into that development?
Yeah, no, it's really interesting to see. I want to bring that up because I want to bring up MBTV, what we're doing this for, and the work that they're doing, broadcasting and with the Go for Midget series and all of that stuff. It seems like that really plays into kind of exactly what you're about.
Right. I think when we look at where we try to focus, a lot of our stuff has always been grassroots, and I always want to stay grassroots with those advertising dollars to help the sport grow, just like they are in their production here. So when we look at a lot of the podcast stuff going on, it's all directed towards those local racers and those local drivers' exposure, and we enjoy that, and we try to balance the big shows with that type of support to keep this whole thing evolving.
No, absolutely, it's really cool. I know that we've had conversations as well regarding the karting side of it. I know that that's one place where you want to try to continue to ramp up the wheels, but how exciting is that for you to see so many young kids getting involved in the sport?
I mean, it's vital, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we throw enough at that. I'd see in our direct area, Northwest Iowa here, I really wish we had a micro sprint track that maybe crossed over into some midgets and had some karting. I think there's a big bridge to gap in our area here. I don't think we'll never breed ourselves a World of Outlaw champion from our area unless we can give those kids at 6 to 9 year olds a real pivot point, because it's just tough to jump from a kart into a big car application. And without that bridge, you know, you can't expect a kid to start picking up a basketball at 18 and go make any type of a team or a run. Like, it's just not, it's not there. And for people to discredit that as a tool in driving at an early age, it has to happen, right?
Yeah.
Those kids develop skills that someone at age of 18 can't catch up with. It's no different.
No, I totally agree. You know, I look around here, everything that you've done, everything that you've accomplished here, coming back from the fire, winning all those big races with your wheels and hubs and everything like that. When you look around here, what are you, I guess if you had to reflect, what are you most proud of?
I would say back to the original thing, just our customer base and those relationships that lasted through turmoil, you know, and we're able to get us through and able to get them through, right? I think those are something to be very proud of, right? Those relationships that stick, those teams that stuck with you, that believed in you. You know, we have a saying in the racing industry, it's not if they leave, it's when they leave, you know, and then you just hope they come back, right? And teams have to make changes. Everybody's trying to do what's best for their dollar. And I think in the end, when they dealt with us and they walk away from us, they truly believe that we are also trying to do what's best with their dollar. And that's whether it's our advertising and promotions within the industry, or how we service our customers in a timely fashion, you know, the products that we put out, the feedback we try to adjust to as we go on. You know, those are all big key things that I'm proud of. And then moving forward, it's just product development. Keeping with the times, keeping with the changes, listening, you know, trying to make those adjustments as you go, introducing new products. Yeah, just keep on keeping on.
You know, one thing that I really am curious about, you talked about, you know, the opportunity to have, you know, a Midwest Millbridge, I guess we'll say, in this area. North of us, you know, with Go for Midgets at Thunderhill Speedway in Wisconsin, they sort of have that. So how do we take that model? How do we expand it across the rest of the Midwest? What's the best way to invest in the future of this sport, I guess?
Yeah, obviously it's purpose-built tracks. You know, you need that, and that's the hardest key. I think the rest kind of falls into place, right? And then it's you know, it's letting all those tracks that don't have access to the big marquee things, you know, take a look at what you guys have done and maybe duplicate that, or reach out and learn how they've done it for their series and how it's going to grow and help out the local interest. The local advertisers can get their bang for their buck and grow cross support from each other. So, the dirt's always the hard part. But like you guys, if they got the dirt, you know, they're able to do their due diligence and get the stuff put together. The rest of that stuff kind of falls into place.
Absolutely. Well, Wade, thanks for the time here. I really appreciate it. This place is awe-inspiring. It's jaw-dropping to walk through here. I appreciate the time here.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely.
You bet. Cool.
When you've got to ship it from anywhere to anywhere,
QualityFreightRate.com.
The LTL Freight Logistics Specialist for your small business.
QualityFreightRate.com.
We simplify shipping, eliminate those surprise charges, and negotiate the best rates from most LTL qualified carriers.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Special residential and liftgate rates available for automotive and ag implements.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Use the promo code ICE and get 10% off your first shipment. Startup is so easy. Get a quote and ship today. QualityFreightRate.com.